Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Unexperienced Teachers Podcast. Today I'm here with Paz.
Hello, hello. How are you?
If you didn't know my name's Paloma or Lolo or whatever.
Green
And
palito as
or
well.
Palito, yes, that's my user on YouTube. And today we're going to be talking about methods and approaches. Do you want to talk about what we did last class?
Yeah, so what we were doing, not just in one class, but in several classes, was presenting different approaches. And each one of the students had a different one, and also a topic. That we had to keep in mind in order to provide examples and a lesson plan, um, so we can connect that with the approach.
I think the I would say the purpose or objective of that was for us to see because, for example, there were some combinations that I thought, oh my god, I'm so thankful I didn't get that one. For example, somebody got TPR, which is total physical response, and reading. Can you imagine that? Like,
Crazy.
it sounds impossible, but our classmate made it work, so it's amazing. And so, well, what I'm trying to say is that the purpose of that was to show ourselves and the others that it's possible, right?
We
To
can combine everything.
yeah, any content with any method, but some are more effective than others and easier, right? For example, TBR and reading, really like, oh my god! But she did an amazing job, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, um, the question for today, or like the prompt is apart from yours, meaning our presentations, which are three methods or approaches you could use in your future classes and why, right? And we chose
TPR.
situational language teaching and finally, oh, which one is it? Sorry. I think it was,
Competency based learning teaching.
yeah.
Language, sorry, competency based language teaching.
Okay, so firstly, I would like to, or we would like to explain a little bit what these methods and approaches are about, and I will start with TPR. So, TPR is based on the coordination of speech and physical action. TPR, for example, can be you as a teacher tell a student to turn on the projector, close the door, stand up. It's like a good, like, for example, for instance, game as a warm up that I like to do is Simon Says. It's a
Yeah,
game.
that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. I love it. It's my favorite. I should use it less. That one is not so like integrated into the class, but you can, of course, use the contents that you have used previously. For example, sit down, hug somebody, etc. Right? Open the door, jump, etc. So, TPR, I would say. Combines the listening, right, that skill with movement, and then the students associate what they're listening to or what they're reading or whatever, and they use their bodies to learn the content, right?
Yeah, and what do you think about like the activities that maybe are not really related to what you just said, but for example, I don't know, maybe gallery walk or maybe sticking some notes on the wall so the students can also walk around. And do you think that that is also a part of a TPR
um,
approach?
yeah, definitely. I mean, you're given instructions. For example, write something, draw a picture, and then if you have like a gallery walk, you're going to tell them, okay, walk around the classroom, write down notes, opinions, etc.
Definitely.
Right? And so yeah, you can definitely complement the, for example, the instructions or other activities with TPR.
Yeah, definitely. I like this one.
Okay, the next one is situational language teaching.
And here, the situational language teaching basically is an oral approach. And it is about teaching vocabulary and grammar in context through a structure and a spoken language. So in this case, the grammar and lexis are taught inductively and not explicitly, basically, and oral practice come fast. And it is also taught through situations. That's very, very important.
So here it says, because of course we have notes, so we can talk about this a little bit better, that it is grammar and lexis are taught inductively, and we were talking about this. Huh? Sorry, we were talking about this, and some students prefer structured lessons, right? But some others don't. And my point with this and what we have said so far is that we as teachers are not supposed to pick just one approach or one method. I mean, here we chose three that we liked the best and that we think we would implement during class, right? But for example, TPR, I'm not gonna use it through all of my lessons or through the whole lesson. I can use it in one part of it, and then use situational language teaching or CBI, CBLT, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we were talking also about this idea of blending them as well and using depending on the purpose of the lesson
Of course.
itself. So maybe we're going to work, for example, with a project. And in that case, there are going to be different activities throughout the lessons that are going to focus on that project. So we have to mix them up so we can assure or ensure the students that they will have plenty of opportunities to work comfortably
Yeah.
and showing obviously their understandings of a topic or of a lesson.
I mean, our purpose as teachers is to develop like lessons, right, that accommodate our students' skills, right?
Yes.
And we were talking about that all of this, what you choose or what method or approach you choose when writing or developing a lesson plan should be based, like my partner here said, the purpose of the lesson and also in the student's profile, right? Because all of
Yeah.
them are different. I mean, we're not going to accommodate to one single student, but the whole class, like all together, right?
So we have to provide them with different opportunities for them to demonstrate their knowledge as well.
So, following that thought, here in the situational language teaching, it says accuracy is important, right? But there are also other methods, for example, the communicative approach that says accuracy is not important. The importance, I mean, what is important is that they use the language, that they
Yeah.
communicate through the language, and so on, right?
Yes.
So, lastly, we have the competency based language teaching. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. So in this case, the competency-based language teaching is based basically. I'm sorry. No. Basically, the purpose is to develop a specific language competencies needed for the students to succeed in different contexts. So,
Not just school.
not just a school, yes. Real
And
life communication skills, that's a key point.
yeah. So basically, this method or approach, I think it's a method, um, it basically says that there are other competencies. I mean, aside from the language or yeah, language skills, competencies which are speaking, reading,
Listening.
writing, and listening, right? I mean, that kind of stays in the classroom. You can also take it outside of the classroom. For example, telling your students that they could travel, they could read things that are in English, they could play games, etc. But something that is added into this method is other skills, aside from the communicational ones, as I said, which are the 21st century skills.
Yay.
Yay, we love those.
Yeah,
And yeah,
those are
so
very important. So, sorry for interrupting you,
no,
but
don't
following
worry.
that same idea is very important for us as future teachers, and also for the teachers that are already working at schools, to encourage these the development of these skills, because are like extremely important. And I have read that this is important because the students are going to be a workforce. I don't really like that word, because they are human beings, and basically they are going to have different types of relationships at work, at home, or I don't know, in social events, for example, that are, and they are going to have these connections with other human beings. So basically, more than just being necessary for a workforce. That, yes, indeed, this is important, but more than that, like as human beings.
Yeah, I was thinking that, okay, we are language teachers, right? We teach them a second language, and we tell them like it's useful for work or for traveling. But I think most importantly, we're teachers of life.
Yes.
We, oh, at least as English teachers, we with language, with English or any other language, teaching them language. I'm going on a tangent, so sorry. What I mean to say is that we're kind of there to teach them, but also support their affairs, right? What they want to do when they leave school, if they want to work, where they want to work, where they want to go and travel and live, right?
Yeah, and also so they can fulfill their dreams as well, and be happy human beings. So, and that comes from this idea of helping them and keeping in mind this holistic idea of a human being, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Do you want to close or should I?
Yeah, definitely go for it.
I always close the podcast.
Yeah, because it's hard for me to say the name.
The Unexperienced
The
Teachers
unexpected.
podcast. So, the three methods and approaches that we chose were TPR, situational language teaching, and finally, competency based language teaching. And like I mentioned before, like we mentioned before, um, there's not like one single method or one single approach that you should follow because there are many, and many of them work in the classroom. You have to find a way to make it work. You have to take into account like the factors there are like in the classroom, of course, before you choose one. And you can also like try them, like test them, right, before settling on it, using it forever.
Yeah, and it is also important to focus on strategies and techniques. There are plenty. So these approaches can be successfully implemented in the classroom.
Yeah. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you for listening. Comment anything you want, any questions. We will try to answer them. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. Yeah, that's it.
See you
Goodbye. Bye
around.
bye.